think we can officially start. We have most of the speakers. I know some speakers are gonna join a little bit later throughout the day. So I want to welcome everybody again for being on today's webinar. It's been a pleasure to have you here. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and the reason why we're doing this webinar today is because Q4 is pretty much the most important season of the year. We know is essentially getting more and more competitive, and I just wanted to make sure I bring some of the best speakers I know in the space, essentially to talk about what is happening in terms of the latest strategies, the latest tools, mistakes you have to avoid. And the goal with this webinar is to really make sure that we're still on time to rectify certain things in terms of the things that you implement on your daily basis to maximize also, for example, Black Friday and Cyber Monday that's across the corner. So I just want to make sure, guys, that you prepare as many questions as you want. This session is also going to be recorded, and we'll make sure we follow up with the recording. And please make sure you get the most of this, because trust me, competition is very first, and if you're not ahead of the game, you're definitely gonna have a struggle when it comes to that, and that's the goal of this. Make sure we give you all the tools or the knowledge, and you can maximize it. So I'm gonna be the first one presenting today. I see Ben also joined. Hello, Ben. Hi there.
Hello.
Cool, cool. So I'm gonna be starting with the first topic of the day, guys, which is gonna be around Amazon Marketing Cloud. So this is something I'm being very vocal in the space, because it's something that I feel is definitely changing the game when it comes to Amazon. I mean, and by the way, just to give a heads up, we have Amazon in the house here, Angela. So I know she's also going to be giving us very interesting insights today in terms of how AI is changing the game, specifically around the advertising stuff thing. So I'm very excited about that presentation as well. And the goal is, just try to make sure we can get the most out of these new technologies and especially features that Amazon is rolling out, which is definitely going to make sure that we can get the most out of our consumers and maximize the growth that we can get within the platform. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen, and we're going to start with the first presentation of the day. And by the way, as already mentioned, if there is questions that arise throughout the day, please drop them in the Q&A section below, and then we make sure towards the end we can go one by one. Awesome. So I think from my side, you already should start seeing my screen very soon. So I think you guys can already see my screen. Yeah, is that right? Yeah. Cool, guys. So as I mentioned, today's topic for me is going to be Amazon Marketing Cloud. And this is something that I'm telling you is changing the game when it comes to running advertising on Amazon. I'm super excited to really go in depth in terms of what are some of the things we're doing here at Ecomcy when it comes to using Amazon Marketing Cloud, and what I think is something that you definitely cannot miss out moving forward, because we're seeing a significant uplift when it comes to performance. And then throughout this presentation, I'm going to show you what are some of the techniques, things that you have to consider, and what is the best kind of implementation to get the most out of it. So let me give you a brief introduction about myself, so you know a little bit more about me. So as I briefly mentioned, my name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, one of the hosts of today's webinar. And for us, essentially the core focus of Ecomcy, we're a full service agency when it comes to Amazon. So we specialize on everything that has to do with Amazon. So we do a PPC, listing optimization, DSP, branding, international expansion is a big thing for us. So we've been in the space for over 7 years now. Right now, we pretty much have a portfolio of 9 figures in active revenue managed, and we have a team of 80 people. So we have a lot of experimentation and things that we do on a daily basis with brands. And a lot of the things that you're going to be seeing today is come from trial and error, and the success that we are able to achieve with some of the brands that we have on board. And beyond that, I also welcome you to check the podcast I also have, which is called the E-commerce Lab Podcast. This is a podcast I also it comes out of passion to really bring back to the community. So a lot of the faces you're seeing today on the panel are actually being part of the podcast. So feel free to check it out. I'm sure you can get a lot of extra insights in terms of how you can get the most out of your journey on Amazon. So let's jump into the topic, right? Which is essentially how we gonna use Amazon Marketing Cloud to scale sponsor campaigns when it comes to Amazon. So I think one of the biggest challenges when it comes to running advertising on Amazon is been the fact that it's getting more competitive, right? And that means that the cost per click is getting higher and higher. At the same time, we see also saturation on some of the keywords that used to bring us most of our sales. And the question that start essentially to be raising here is like, how do I make sure now that every single time I invest money on advertising, I can make the most out of it? And that's where Amazon Marketing Cloud can be game changer when it comes to that, because now essentially what we're trying to do with Amazon Marketing Cloud is rather than going very broad when it comes to advertising on a keyword, now you can still advertise on that keyword, but you can make sure that you only show proactively on that keyword when you know the persona behind essentially searching for the keyword is matching as close as possible the avatar that resemble your perfect consumer, right? And this comes down to the behavior, the gender, the lifestyle, where at the base, all the things that will define a persona within Amazon eyes, right? So that's where essentially Amazon Marketing Cloud is changing the game, because now you can dynamically make sure that when somebody's typing, let's make the example, right? Let's say that you are selling, for example, a water bottle, right? But this water bottle is specifically for people that only do hiking, as an example. Let's be honest, within the water bottle niche, there's many sports that you can practice. It could also be for somebody that does cycling, somebody that does boxing, right? There's so many niches within the niches itself. And if you try to advertise only for some of the main keywords related to water bottle, for example, you're gonna spend a lot of at a budget when it comes to running advertising. But now with Amazon Marketing Cloud, you can be very intentional and say only when a persona is looking for the keyword, for example, cold water bottle, is going to allow you in this case to proactively dynamically adjust that bid. So now it's not anymore a guessing game. It's based on what historically has happened with your brand, but beyond that, what also has happened, for example, with your competitor brands, or what is happening in general with different touch points that you can filter down within Amazon Marketing Cloud. So now essentially you can go from being kind of more like a guessing game by just going for all the keywords and try to get all the fish in the sea, to now being more specific to only the few fish that you know are effectively your perfect persona when it comes to consumer. Now, this is a screen I wanted to put here, so it's even more visual in terms of how Amazon Marketing Cloud is part of your strategy. What are you seeing here on the screen is that Amazon Marketing Cloud not only can be used for sponsored products, which is essentially what we're going to be focusing today, but also, for example, with things such as DSP, which I know our friend Ali from Trellis is going to be focusing today. So the beauty of that is that we can use now this data room essentially to get data from our advertising or organic sales, 1P kind of brand data. So this is actually another topic I did a few webinars back, which a lot of people don't know. A lot of the big brands we work with, they have very large database in terms of emails, phone numbers, name, last name, all the things that will define a persona. And you can actually upload that to Amazon. And Amazon now, what it will do using Amazon Marketing Cloud, it will match that information from D2C to potential essential consumers within Amazon. So imagine, and this happens a lot, we're seeing a lot of D2C brands now jumping to Amazon because they have noticed that essentially Amazon is a place to be. That, you know, when they're jumping to Amazon, sometimes they started from zero. They don't have any listings, they don't have any exposure, but now at least they have the data from D2C. They can put on Amazon Marketing Cloud. And that means from day one that you start running advertising, you're actually targeting exactly the persona that is very likely to actually start buying from you. So now it's very likely that you can be much more efficient when it comes to every single dollar that you spend on advertising. Now, some of the things that usually I do with Amazon Marketing Cloud, and I recommend all of you to do, is divide this in 4 buckets, right? Usually the 4 buckets are the ones you see in the screen right now. So the first one is you want to focus on high intent shoppers. So these are usually shoppers that within the category itself used to usually buy a lot of products on Amazon. So for example, if I'm selling a water bottle, right, most likely I want to target people that spend a lot of money on products that have to do with sports, right? So that's now a niche that allows you to be more intentional, and only running ads on people is very likely to buy accessories within the sport kind of industry. Then you have high value customers. This is very good. For example, if you are a consumer that focus on lifetime value, like supplements, or for example, you have a very high a price point, because this happen a lot on Amazon. You're trying to launch a product, your price point is, let's say, over $100, but the baseline on that category is $30 to $50. You're gonna struggle a lot on the main keywords, because price from a price point perspective, everybody's gonna kind of be taking your sales. So what do you do with Amazon Marketing Cloud? You focus on people that usually tend to be high spenders in high price point pockets, to be even more intentional with your ads. Or the last two examples that you see here, like new to brand, which is something I love. And I intentionally always make sure that that's the main focus of Amazon Marketing Cloud, focusing on people that have never seen my product before. Because let's be honest, if I'm going to do something like Amazon Marketing Cloud, it's because I want to have touch points that of people that have never seen me before. If it's only down to retargeting, we could actually argue that this is something that you could proactively do with sponsored display, for example, right? So that's where some of the things you have to consider, because new to brand is really what is going to allow your brand to grow more. Now, how do we do essentially the implementation of Amazon Marketing Cloud within Sponsor? So one of the things you're going to find, and this is something that most sellers actually have this active right now, because Amazon has enabled this across the board. And if not, you can raise a case, even with your Amazon rep, you can get it enabled, is that you can get essentially a now audiences added to all your sponsor campaigns, right? So this means, for example, if you go now to one of your campaigns, you go to your ad group level, you're gonna find on the left hand side one of the things that says bid a placement, right? And once you click in there, you're gonna see that one of the tabs at the top, it says audiences, and that's where Amazon Marketing Cloud comes into the play. Now, effectively, what you're doing is you create your audiences, you bring them to sponsor products, and you say, for example, let's say you're ranking for a keyword, and we know ranking when it comes to Amazon is all down to conversion. So what do? I put an audience that I know resembles exactly my consumer, which means most likely when they see my ads are going to convert higher than usual. And by putting that on my exact match keyword campaigns, which are for ranking purposes, now my conversion is going to be essentially matching what I need to proactively rank for a keyword. That's just an example I'm giving you. But that's how you start embedding essentially Amazon Marketing Cloud within sponsored product campaigns. Now, the good thing of Amazon is that now they have essentially make it very easy for you to get access in terms of playing with Amazon Marketing Cloud, because in the past, you had to do this with queries, right? So you had to essentially go to the query dashboard, which I'm going to show you a quick screenshot for you to see. And then you had to pretty much kind of go back and forth and create these queries for Amazon to proactively give you the data. But now it has templates. So it has templates, as you can see here, of overlapping audiences, like, for example, car abandoners. So now is something that it shouldn't be an excuse for a lot of sellers to not implement. And it's very easy to essentially deploy across the board. So this is essentially how the search query dashboard looks like. As you can see, it can get very daunting, especially if you don't have experience when it comes to dealing with queries systems. So now it's something that this is more tailored towards brand, where you want to be more personalized and specific, but with the template, you can get most of the things done, at least the main kind of audiences that are going to be more impactful for you. So now, these are some of the examples usually we see. To be honest, across the board, every single time we implement Amazon Marketing Cloud, on average, we're seeing anywhere from 20 to 30% increase in sales, and conversion usually baseline 30 to 40%. Like, this is something that comes down to the simple point of what I just mentioned, that you're now running ads specifically to the persona that you know is going to buy from you. There's no more guessing. There's no being kind of essentially hopping down from all those traffic on your main keywords, the ones that are your avatar kind of find your product. Now the intention is much more high, and usually that's going to allow you to scale your brand much faster on Amazon. Now, some of the things, and these are some of the tips, kind of strategies I'm going to give you throughout the remaining of the presentation, is some of the steps you have to do to make sure you can get the most out of it, right? So the first one I would say goes back to segmentation. A big mistake I see when it comes to Amazon Marketing Cloud is only stopping at kind of the templates I already mentioned, which is, the ones that abandon carts and things like that. Realistically, where you're gonna find the most value with Amazon Marketing Cloud is when you go very deep in terms of specific behaviors that are within the niche itself. So for example, let's say you're selling the water bottle, right? But let's say within the water bottle niche, there's people that prefer the bottle to be made out of wood, or made out of plastic, made out of steel. So then there's certain kind of connotation that you want to go deeper beyond the actual generics of only abandoned carts, or for example the price point level. So be very intentional with those audiences, because the more intentional you are, the closer you get to kind of the behavior that really is going to maximize your conversion. And the beauty is that not only you get to create audiences based on past behavior, but you can create lookalike audiences, which is essentially an amplification of the success some of these audiences had in the past for you, right? So these are some of the examples here. You can see, so for example, here in this example with things such as Amazon Marketing Cloud, you can see an example such as in this step, like here, we wanted to understand how DSP, for example, was even impactful for this specific client, right? So here, a simple exercise with Amazon Marketing Cloud was understanding, what is the different path touch points that the client was doing. In this case, DSP number one, Sponsor Pro number two, a sponsor display number three. Then out of that, try to understand, okay, what is the kind of purchase rate that is bringing to the table, and what is the contribution of total revenue. And then out of that, with Amazon Marketing Cloud, which is why I wanted to show this screen, I can say, okay, all the people that had that path toward conversion, create an audience. So now essentially I'm creating audiences based on the path that gives me the metrics I want to achieve out of my brand, which is something that before you wouldn't be able to achieve, right? Now, some of the things that you also need to do once you start going very advanced with the segmentation, make sure you leverage lookalike audiences, because just as a brief just essentially mentioned on the screen before, some of the things you're gonna find is that it reaches a point that you kind of saturate an audience. Like let's say you have a data sample of 2,000 customers in the past that have bought from you, right? And then you start targeting those consumers, it will reach a point that that list or that audience is going to get burned out. It's just certain cap that you can get out of a list in terms of how much more pro you can sell them or upsell them, right? That's where lookalike audiences become your best friend, because now essentially what you can do with this is you can say, based on the success these audiences are having, create an audience that actually resemble the same kind of behavior, and from there the sky's the limit. You can create as many lookalike audiences as you want, and the more you do it, the more refined it gets, and essentially it just builds on top of the success you already been having. And the other thing I would say is focus a lot when it comes to Amazon Marketing Cloud on lifetime value. The good thing of Amazon Marketing Cloud is now you can definitely build kind of audiences that comes down to that. If you remember at the beginning of the webinar, I make a specific point around a high value customers. So customers that keep buying from you on a repetitive basis. Focus on those kind of consumers. Like the answer to be successful on Amazon, especially if you have a product that people buy on a recurrent basis, is on that. It's not on that initial sell, because a lot of people, when they sell on Amazon, they come down to the assumption that, oh, I need to make money on the first sell, which makes sense if you're selling, let's say, a TV or a refrigerator, something that you only buy once. But a lot of product you will buy on a recurrent basis. And if you don't make that kind of assumption into your marketing, you actually are most likely not focusing on what is really going to be incremental, because for most brands the customer acquisition cost is so high that you're not going to be profitable on that first sell. So focus on the lifetime value, double down on that, and make sure you can get the most out of your consumer, not in the short term but in the long term, right? This is another example that, for example, that we focus on that, right? On this, in this example I wanted to focus on, okay, what is my unique reach, right? I want to focus what is my unique reach and how that's reflected in terms of revenue. So now with Amazon Marketing Cloud, you can segment it out in different kind of groups, and you can come down and essentially say, okay, when my consumer comes down to this specific path and has this specific exposure, that's where I have the most reach. And usually unique reach for you that might not know comes down to new to brand metrics. So that's where really you're gonna get the most kind of success with Amazon Marketing Cloud, because this is all people that have never seen you before. And as long as that number keeps increasing, that means Amazon Marketing Cloud is allowing you to go into placements that you wouldn't find otherwise, right? Especially with lookalike audiences. And finally, I would say to start coming to a closure is the bid modifier. So this is really where essentially success come the most when it comes to Amazon Marketing Cloud. As I briefly mentioned, the goal here is to create as many audiences as you can, put them on your best performing campaigns or the ones that you know are going to give you the most impact on your revenue, and you want to keep refining them. You want to create these audiences that make sure you remove any wasted spend, especially clicks that you know are not going to be converted to sales, and you do that with audiences. You filter down based on behavior, based on historical performance, or lookalike audiences, and get the most out of those. And the final thing I would say, audiences have to be refreshed. This is a big mistake, especially in Q4. Whatever you do now, guys, make sure you don't repurpose that, for example, on Q1, because the behavior of people in Q4 is different than Q1. So if you're creating audiences now, lookalike audiences and all that, make sure you keep that a consideration in place, because seasonality is one of the big contributors of essentially shifting behaviors across customer intent towards purchases and all of that. So that's something to consider. Here another screenshot. I just wanted to show you more data when it comes to that. For example, this is something I'm sure Ali that's going to touch DSP is going to double down more on, but you can see on examples such as here, especially when, and this DSP, just to make a parenthesis, people ask a lot, you know, how do I know DSP is actually being impactful to my brand? Now with Amazon Marketing Cloud, you can come down to that conclusion, because here, for example, you will have consideration phases where you can say, okay, DSP is attributing this percentage of new to brand to total revenue, right? And then from that, you can create an audience and all of that. So again, I'm going to let that to Ali to go more in depth, but that's really the power of Amazon Marketing Cloud that wasn't possible before. And final one, guys, is come down to a really business plan that defines success for you, because for different brands, the success is different. For some brands, it's going to be revenue. Some brands, it's going to be profit. For some brands, it's going to be actually new to brand metrics. So work from that objective backwards, because if you do the other way around, which is just working with all the generic audiences and then try to aim towards the target, like most likely you're not going to achieve that. Define the target, and then from that, you're going to be able to essentially very easy kind of filter out which audiences are going to be more impactful for you when it comes to reaching your goals. So yeah, I would say like the conclusion is very clear. Like Amazon Marketing Cloud is definitely here to stay. Amazon is investing a lot of time and resources into this. I think this is the future really of advertising. We see even with Rufus personalizing exposure on when it comes to search, and I think advertising is not going to be any different. It's going to essentially come down to making sure every single ad is specifically tailored to the person that is on the other side of the screen type of for the queue. And you need to understand that, because if you don't, competition is and is definitely going to take part of your market share. So that's everything from me, guys. Now, of course, I just leave quickly a QR code here on the screen. If you want to have a deeper conversation about this with myself, my team, more than happy to go in depth in terms of how we can deploy that across your account. But yeah, now we're going to jump to the next speaker of the day. And by the way, if any questions, as I already mentioned, please start dropping all the questions down below. Then towards the end of the presentation, we're gonna then open the Q&A and make sure we can, get to you in terms of all the details. Okay, so great. So next speaker we have Angela Bulso from Amazon. So Angela, how you doing?
All good. Thank you so much, Vincenzo.
A pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. So excited. So if you don't mind, just give us a brief introduction about yourself, and then, yeah, feel free to start your self-presentation. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. So, hello everyone, and welcome to our today's session. So, my session will be much more conversational, but before diving into the session, let me introduce quickly myself. So, I'm Angela. I am the marketing manager in the Amazon Ads team, and I've been with Amazon for over 4 years now. And it's a pleasure for me to be here today. And what we will explore together will be how Amazon Ad Solutions support advertisers to transform their advertising landscape and drive business growth, and also how we are leveraging innovative AI tools that can unlock advertisers' potential. So, every time that I start a session, which is much more, let's say, conversational, what comes to my mind when I hear about, I don't know, Amazon is always, retail solution like Amazon.com, for example. And I'm sure that the most of you think about Amazon of the same, right? So you think about the first thing that you hear is like in mind is like, okay, retail solution, right? So Amazon.com. But actually, there are many ways customers interact with Amazon. So Amazon's strength lies in our diverse touch points with customers. So this diversity of touch points present both challenges and opportunities for advertisers, right? So from shopping to entertainment, we create a meaningful connection across multiple channels, and we give advertiser actually access to engage customer, as we have seen before in Vincenzo presentation through AMC, for example. So your messages can appear where customer choose to spend their time, and this is very important. So whether they are shopping or streaming entertainment, for example, or listening to music or gaming, if the goal is to increase brand awareness and build I don't know, brand image, for example, upper funnel measures such as, I don't know, streaming TV can help. So, through an effective advertising strategy, brands can now integrate their message into their audience's daily routine, so they can benefit from clear measurement and direct attribution. So, Amazon is integrated into customers' daily life. So from the moment where they wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, good morning, Alexa," for example, and they ask to play a song on Amazon Music, right? So customers rely on Amazon properties and services to search for reviews, watch movies, I don't know, listen to music, podcasts, or to keep up with their shows, for example, at home or, I don't know, on the go. So these touch points provide us with signals that allow to us to generate unique first-party insights. So through an effective advertising strategy, brands can integrate their messages into their audiences daily routine, so they can benefit from clear measurement and direct attribution. And this is what to me is full funnel advertising, right? This is our slogan, full funnel advertising. So today customers, the way, let's say, how customers are making purchasing decision is evolving over time. And today customers are more informed than ever. I don't know, they conduct, for example, online researching before, for example, making purchase decision, right? So from our analysis and our internal researches demonstrate that more or less 51% of shoppers always do some research online before making a major purchase. So these insights demonstrate clearly the importance of being present throughout the customer journey. So another interest point is, for example, that 33% of our shoppers, EUK, for example, prefer Amazon for multiple product purchases. What does it mean? This presents an excellent opportunity, right? For example, for cross-selling and upselling. So let's get now closer, having this in mind, on how Amazon Ads can help, okay, and help advertisers in general. And for example, also small, medium businesses. So our insights shows that products generated like 26% more sales when advertised through periods of historically high engagement. And this demonstrates the power of reaching customers at the right moment with relevant messaging, right? So how Amazon Ad solution work together to help you, I don't know, acquire new customers or generate demand across the entire purchase funnel. I'm sure that most of you already know the funnel that we usually talk about in Amazon Ads team, right? So we have the upper funnel where we have the awareness stage, where we have multiple solutions that can help. For example, streaming TV or sponsored display can help you reach broad audiences who might not be familiar with your brand, for example. And then we have also Amazon DSP that can help you reach your audience across multiple channels without sacrifice, for example, relevance, right? So this is for the upper funnel. But then moving to consideration, we have other solutions like sponsor brand video, brand stores that help you tell your story. So the story of your brand, the value proposition, and showcase your products. And then finally, we have the lower part of the funnel, which is conversion. So in the conversion stage, we have other tools like, for example, sponsor products, sponsor display that can help turn that interest into actual sales. So we can capture customers when they are ready to make a purchase decision. So again, the important thing is to be where customers are. And as regards solutions, again, we have multiple solutions that are available in Advertising Console, and I think most of you already know, like sponsor product, sponsor display, brand video, this sponsor brand video, sorry, and sponsor TV, for example. We have brand store, but on top of this, we have also other solutions, what we call the magic of display ads, like Amazon DSP or device, for example, ads that can help advertisers reach customers with engaging visual messages across multiple touch points, and that can help, especially if we think about the upper part of the funnel, so the awareness. So on top of this, so we have launched also lots of solutions, so coming to AI, innovative solution that can really transform how businesses can create and optimize also their advertising. So starting from creative, we have multiple launches in terms of creativity. Like, for example, we have image generator. So this is like an AI power tool that allows advertisers of all sizes to create high quality custom lifestyles, for example, images based on their product details at no extra cost, and especially with no expertise required, which is absolutely amazing for me. And what is curious is that our recent research from our team shows that the use of AI image generator helped on average to increase click by 22% and orders by 21%. So you can recognize the power of having such tools. And as most of you maybe also know, we have launched and announced another, let's say, tool, which is video generator. So it uses, for example, a single product image or a video as input, and you can use this video generator to create multiple videos with text animation or background music, for example. So you can now create 6 videos that are ads ready within minutes with no production experience and no cost, which is very relevant. And also as regard creative assets, for example, we also announced our integration with Canva, for example. So advertisers now can benefit from a direct connection to their creative assets library and edit creatives using the Canva functionality, which is also very relevant. But you know, in Amazon, we deal always with data. We fell in love with data and insights. So on top of creative assets, we also launched other AI-powered tool to analyze the performances of campaigns. So we are seeing a fundamental shift in how businesses understand the response to shopping behavior. So at Amazon, it's all about connecting branding with performance through full funnel advertising. And this is all built on 3 pillars. So reach, relevance, and measurement. So what are the main AI power solutions supporting this? Maybe some of you already hear about Performance Plus. This focuses on, for example, driving sales. But we have launched also, for example, Brand Plus. This is all about building brand awareness, so helping finding audiences that are most likely to engage with your brand. And then we have also Ad Relevance, which tell us how well an ad matches what shoppers want. So my final, let's say, recommendation is we have multiple tools, okay? So the important thing is to fix your strategy, understand what you want to achieve, what are your objectives, and use the multitude of Amazon Ads tools to achieve your objectives, your goal, having in mind a full funnel strategy and important. The message that I want to give you all today is to be where customers are really. And Amazon Ad Solution give you these tools to do it. So I'm very sorry that it has been more conversational, but
I love it.
I really hope that this brief, let's say, conversation from my side, these inputs can help advertising understanding how we are approaching, okay, the innovation, AI revolution, and how we can support you really, because our tools can support all advertisers of all sizes. This is very important. And Vincenzo, thank you so much for hosting me. I'm very, very sorry that I need to leave earlier because I have other meetings today, but really, it was a pleasure for me to stay with you today.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine, Angela, and thank you so much. I mean, having you and of course Amazon to co-host with us this webinar is definitely a pleasure. So thank you so much. I think you did such a good job going over, the whole ecosystem of what Amazon is bringing to the table. I think it's very important that people is aware of that. I think most likely a lot of the tools you mentioned today or new things people were not even aware of. And I think it's true, like making sure you understand your objectives and leverage that is really what is going to allow you to maximize where you can get the most out of your consumers, which is, on Amazon. So it's been a pleasure, Angela. Thank you for being here with us. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure for me. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Cool. We jump into third speaker of the day. I think we have Ben Leonard. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Good to see you as always, Vincenzo. How you doing?
Good, man. Trying to make the most out of Q4 and make sure, we can survive.
Yeah, aren't we all, right? We're all just trying to keep our heads above water. It's a crazy time of year.
Yes. So give us
Look,
a
thanks for
brief
having
intro,
me.
about yourself and the topic. Of course, pleasure as well to have you. So very excited
Sure.
to learn from you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ben. I got into e-commerce about a decade ago, founded a strength and conditioning equipment brand because that is one of my passions. We were selling mostly exclusively across the UK and Europe, actually, with a tiny bit of UAE and Australia as well. Very much a brand, not just kind of an Amazon business, selling on our own D2C side as well. Of course, back then TikTok didn't exist. Sold it after 3 years, infamously to Thrasio. It was their first European acquisition. And I actually bought the brand back a while ago with some business partners, and so we're turning that around because, well, it didn't go too well, shall I say, after I sold it. So we're documenting that on YouTube. It's at brandrescuemission.com. These days, I also build new brands. I'm just closing right now an investment round for a new business that I'm going to launch in the spring, and I have a growth and retention marketing agency, which helps Amazon brands become real brands. And I am still involved in M&A. I co-founded Ecom Brokers. We're a boutique M&A advisory firm for e-commerce business owners. But today, I'm talking about making video ads that crush using AI, which of course you can use on Amazon. You can use to drive traffic to Amazon. You can use organically on Instagram. You can use them on TikTok. And I think, it's a very hot topic at the moment, which people are finding overwhelming because a lot of these tools, whilst remarkable, do require a bit of skill to use. And I am not very smart at this kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you how people who like me, who aren't that smart, kind of cheat. And so this is what I'm going to present.
Awesome,
So if
man.
you're
Thank you.
ready,
Yeah, let's
if you're
go.
ready, I'll rock and roll.
Thank you.
Let me just share my screen. All right, so can you see that? Good. Right, making video ads that crush using AI. Okay, so the obvious thing is we need user-generated content to make video ads, right? The problem is many of us will be saying, well, I have no user-generated content, or I have very little user-generated content. So the solution is to turn lifestyle photos that we do have, both real and also AI-generated, into video ads. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do. You're going to need 4 resources. You're going to need to go to kling.ai, which is very cheap, and you can start off for free. Peregrinecommerce.com/kling. That's just going to take you to a custom GPT I built completely free for you. Peregrinecommerce.com/flux, another free custom GPT, and openart.ai. To be honest, you could probably do without Kling and do all of this in OpenArt, but I just happen to like both. I'm going to show you how to do it with both. So let me show you what we're going to do. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to open this custom GPT that I've built for you. And you're going to plug in a lifestyle photo that you already have, because I'm going to assume you've got at least one lifestyle photo, okay? So in this example, this guy is wearing my brand's
Just to
weightlifting.
confirm, are you sharing the screen?
Yeah, you can see it, right?
No, it stopped
No?
sharing.
Oh, man.
Let me see. Oh, no,
Don't
I can
worry,
see
I'll
now.
fix it.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Yes, just
I
share it
have it.
again. Yeah, just in case. Okay, now it's good. Awesome.
Can you see that?
Yeah, it's good.
Perfect. Okay. So so you come to this custom GPT at that URL that I just showed you, right? You saw the URLs, yeah?
Yes, I did. Right
You did.
because
You
I
saw the
got
slides. Perfect. Okay, sweet. So you plug in a lifestyle photo. So in this case, this guy's wearing our weightlifting knee sleeves. And you're just going to tell ChatGPT, write the perfect Kling image to video prompt for this photograph of a man squatting a barbell while wearing a pair of red Beast Gear weightlifting knee sleeves. Now you're going to give it a pretty basic explanation of what's in the photo. Now ChatGPT can read the photo and knows what's in it, but you want to make sure it doesn't get confused. Like for example, it might think that he's actually wearing like protective knee pads for rollerblading or something, and we don't want that, okay? It's going to spit out 5 different prompts, and you can go through them and see what you think. But you could just cheat and say, well, which prompt is best? And it's going to say, well, what do you want it for? And I said, best for a meta video ad. And it gives me the best one. You're going to open Kling over here. And what you're going to do is you're going to paste in the prompt here where my mouse is that we've just made. You could use the DeepSeek tool here, but I don't like it. I don't think it's very good. And you can play around with sound effects, and you can choose the model you want. I made this video with model 2.1, but they're all very good. And you can play around with motion control and that type of thing too. And here's what it did. So that was just a photo of a real guy, but now he's moving. And it's quite remarkable, and the integrity of the logos and text and everything remains intact. I think that's pretty wild. Here's another example. This is another normal photograph, but now he's jumping up and down, and the logos and text remains completely intact. It's a short little clip, of course. Here's a different way of doing it. This is just a static photo of the product, but now we're panning nicely over the product. Here's another one. This is a real photo, but now she's actually squatting using our product, and you can see the logo and text all remains beautifully intact. Fantastic. But what if you don't have a lifestyle photo? Well, you can actually make one. So in this example, this video is coming from a completely AI generated image, okay? So let me show you how we get there, all right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go find a photograph of a competitor product, and you're gonna dump it into the Flux prompter that I've given you a link for. So here's a photograph of a man wearing a competitor product. And I say to it, analyze this image and write a prompt for it. And it's gonna give you 5 prompts. And I read them and I liked them, but I wanted it to emphasize the weightlifting knee sleeves. So I told it to do that. And it's given me 5 more. You can go through and choose which prompt you like. And what you're going to do is you're going to come into Open Art, and you're going to click on Image on the left and then Create Image. And you're going to dump in your prompt here and put a reference image here, which is just a picture of your product. And then you're going to choose your model. So for instance, you might choose Nano Banana, which of course is very famous, or Flux, which is what I named my ChatGPT model after. And here's the output. So you can see that's the prompt that I pasted in. Here's the original reference image, and it used Nano Banana. Pretty good. This is the example I just showed you. I asked it to create a young athletic woman holding my product, and this is what it gave me. However, it wasn't quite right because I used a pretty poor model called SeedStream. And so I actually improved the image, as you can see here. It'll allow you to upscale the image. And then I took this image, went back to Kling, made a prompt in my Kling prompter, dumped it in here, and made this video. Okay, cool. So what are we going to do with this? Well, we're going to start stitching all these little 5-second videos together. They're short enough that no one's really going to realize that they're AI generated. So what I like to do is this. I like to write a script, which we don't have time to go into today, but I can teach you another day perhaps. And then I like to speak that script to camera, or get someone else who is the face of my brand to speak that script to camera, or, and we don't have time for this today, make an AI avatar to speak that script to camera. Okay, and that could even be a fake avatar of myself. And then I cut it together with all these little videos we've made of both real and fake UGC. So I will show you what that looks like. I hope you can hear the audio. Here we go. I was tired of my knees giving out before my muscles did during heavy lifting. Okay, so I'll just pause that there, right? So that's real UGC. During heavy lifting. But as you know, these ones here are fake. The photograph is real, but then we made a fake photo from it. That's real, that's fake. They're professional grade compression knee sleeves that give you the support to lift heavier. Our 5mm tech weave neoprene compresses your knee joint like a warm real, increasing blood flow. I find that including real stuff with the fake stuff just really helps to give it that authenticity. While our reinforced stitching handles the heaviest loads. Now I can smash my and cutting back to a real person, everyone can see that I'm real here. Really, again, adds authenticity. Now, ideally, I would have recorded this in a gym, of course, not in my home, but I was just doing this for this. About my knees failing me. Originally, I made them for myself, but when other lifters... Of course, that's just a stock photo. Of course, they wanted a pair too, and that's how Beast Gear started. Now, I get to help serious lifters break through their plateaus and lift with confidence. So, get your Beast sleeves today and feel the difference that professional grade support makes. So, in a few moments, you've basically, with no real prompting skill, created a 60-second ad that you can run. You can put it in Amazon, you can run meta ads to Amazon, meta ads to your website, you can put it in TikTok, you can post it organically in Instagram, which we did here. And it's saving thousands upon thousands of dollars in what would have cost you in photo shoots and video shoots. All very cheaply and easily. And I've barely scratched the surface of the capability of these tools. And so I'm a huge proponent of using, these tools are called wrappers. They are wrappers that make complicated models like Nano Banana, VO3, Flux, much, much easier for mere mortals like me to use. And there's absolutely no shame in it. I do not claim to be some sort of prompt engineering wizard. I just claim to be a guy who uses good tools. And that's the way we do it over at Peregrine Commerce. We like to do this for both organic and paid media. It's incredibly effective. When you sprinkle in real people as well, that just really makes the authenticity and credibility of what you're doing kind of skyrocket. I'm a huge proponent of the founder of the brand actually being the face of the brand. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that brought you some value. Any questions, get in touch. If you want me to help you do this type of thing, get in touch. But yeah, hopefully that helps you grow your brand a bit.
Thank you, Ben. So that was awesome, actually, because this, I mean, especially for Q4, we all know it's all about creating that influx of traffic. And without content, you're definitely not going to achieve that. And I think for a lot of us that sometimes feel like, you need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on models and photo shoots and all of that, that's definitely something of the past. So seeing tools like this are definitely going to make a huge difference, especially for those that are struggling to really make it throughout Q4. So thank you for that. That's awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you inviting me on.
Always, man. Good to have
Cheers.
you. Okay. Good.
I can see Shawn there. Hey, Shawn.
Bye-bye.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye. So awesome. We have Shawn next in line. How you doing, Shawn?
Hey, I'm doing well. Great stuff, Ben. I sent you a text just saying hello, brother. Long time no see. Thanks for the invite, Vincenzo. Always a pleasure. Today we're going to talk about Amazon product selection. So free to go now, boss?
Yeah. Let's give it a quick intro by yourself. Just tell us a bit about your company and everything, and let's get started. Yeah. Thank you.
My name's Shawn Hart, Post-Purchase Pro, the Seller Underground, and I've literally helped thousands of Amazon sellers over the last decade launch and scale real brands. And today I'm going to show you one of the exact product selection systems that I've used to find winners again and again. My business partner, Seth, and I have launched over 1,000 private label products since 2014. And we've exited 14 businesses collectively. So we made a lot of mistakes, just to be blunt about it. All right, so why product selection? Well, I'm going to show you why which product you choose to sell matters more than your PPC strategy, external traffic, packaging, brand, or customer service. It matters more than your product listings, your images, your reviews, inventory management, and optimization. And I'm going to prove it to you because there are 4 important factors that a lot of us are overlooking. But after today, you won't do that anymore. Here's the truth. There's no single product opportunity out there that will generate extraordinary profits forever. Seth and I have launched over 1,000 unique private label products on Amazon, and we created tens of millions in sales. And most importantly, we figured out how to maintain outrageously high profit margins. We ended up selling several of these brands for life-changing amounts of money. But here's the real story. Most of our sales and success came from just about 120 products out of over 1,000 that we launched. Yeah, this means that only about 12% of the products that we launched were actually big winners for us. I don't mean products that sell okay. I'm talking about products that explode with growth. See, we thought that Amazon was about optimization until one single discovery literally flipped our business upside down. So the question is, how can we predict ahead of time which products will be wildly successful before we launch? Eventually, we discovered 4 factors that would predict with near absolute certainty whether or not a product on Amazon would be successful. And when all aligned, create almost effortless revenue and profit growth on Amazon. Here they are. The factors for Amazon product success, I'm going to tell you what they are, and then I'm going to break each one down briefly so that you too can fully understand how to find massive opportunities on Amazon starting today. Number 1 is nicheability. And that's going to go right along with what Vincenzo was sharing earlier in his presentation. Number 2 is growing demand. 3 is profitability. And you probably guessed it, number 4 is launch confidence. Now let's dig into each one of these. And I'm going to show you why they're so important. Let's dive into the first factor for Amazon product success, which is this concept of nicheability, because it is so important. A product with high nicheability has a higher chance of success than a product with low nicheability or no nicheability. But what does this even mean? You see, high nicheability is where there's an opportunity to serve specific customers on Amazon that are currently being ignored. There are products where a lot of customers use specific long tail keywords or key phrases to try to find what they're looking for, but they're left to buy from general listings because none of us sellers or brands are filling their specific niche or their need. This creates a giant opportunity for us. How do you spot a high nicheability opportunity? When people are searching for specific products or solutions, but are left to buy from general listings. And while high nicheability is a great thing, we found a few other factors that could also help us predict whether or not a product would succeed before we ever thought about launching it. But what if we did nail the perfect niche and we launch it at the worst possible time? Well, that's what's next. The next factor that we're going to talk about that makes a huge difference is growing demand. Is there growing demand? Growing demand shows where interests are going and what is gaining or losing popularity. It's like in ice hockey. You always want to be skating to where the puck is going, not where it's already been, right? Imagine today you're trying to sell fax machines or even newspaper subscriptions. Your life is going to be so much harder than it needs to be. All of our most successful products on Amazon, the ones that have produced millions in revenue, we're in a growing niche where customers are hungry for our type of product. Growing demand means that there are more and more customers interested in buying your product. It also means that you're early. And if you're early, you can use a first mover advantage and capture more Amazon real estate with your listings that rank organically a lot easier at this stage. You'll also develop a review advantage as you can be one of the very first listings to start collecting those reviews. That's why even the right product launched at the wrong time is still the wrong product. We've all been there. A lot of you have made the same mistake of launching a product into a mature, shrinking niche, and then you wonder, why is Amazon so hard? Well, what kind of growth matters? It's more customers searching for your product on Amazon, rising prices due to higher demand, and increasing profit margins. This is why continuing to launch new products is so important, because products have their own growth trends. You cannot ride shrinking markets into growth. You must add new growing products to your brand if you want to keep your business growing. Here's another fact. When demand is growing, you have more pricing power. There are tons of customers and profit margins are big. But as demand starts to fall over time, there are more listings competing for a shrinking number of customers. So, of course, prices start to fall and ad costs start to rise. So, as demand slows, your profit margins fall dramatically. So, what would happen if you stop launching new products in niches where there's strong demand growth? You probably guessed it. Your business slowly starts to die. Your brand should be an ever growing collection of products that are in demand. You should be stacking up winning products that are growing profitably. And this is the proven way to long term success and growth building brands and products on Amazon. At least it has been through my personal observation. So before you ever launch anything, make sure you double check that your product has high nicheability and that your niche has growing demand. But there are two more factors that are crucial for success that I want to share it with you. What if demand is strong and your niche looks good, yet the profits vanish into thin air? Let me show you. Let's jump into the next success factor, profitability. Let me ask you, what's more important, my friend? Is it sales or is it profit? Profit is king, right? That's obvious because profit is what you actually get to keep. It's what funds your life and your mission. You can't feed your family or fulfill your dreams with sales. It takes profit, money in the bank. Now, I've met with dozens of sellers over the years that are great at driving sales, but barely scrape by because they make no profit. I met a seller recently that's doing 4 million in sales per year on Amazon, but literally makes no profit. Isn't that absurd? You work all year importing products, creating images, managing ads and people, and then you take all those risks and headaches to make $0. There's a better way. Did you know that the most profitable products on Amazon also have a bunch of indicators in common? And if you study the data, you can find pockets where prices are high, ad spend is low, and profit margins are insane. Let me show you. Here are the indicators for high profitability: low competition, pricing power, meaning you can raise your price without losing sales, review star ratings, and high conversion rates. So imagine this. The stars all align. You find a product on Amazon where there's low competition, high pricing power, and the competition also doesn't have very good review rating. And there are still, the conversion rates are still high because there are so many customers. But what if you got the niche, you got the growth, you got the margins, but you still can't predict whether the launch will actually work? Well, that's for number 4, launch confidence. This is the last factor for success. When it comes to launching new products on Amazon or anywhere for that matter, wouldn't it be nice to have a huge amount of confidence in your launch and that launch being successful before you go? Well, now you can. Let's take a look at this. How confident are you right now that your next product launch will be successful? Well, how would you even know? Let me ask you. I've got 2 different scenarios for you to consider. Here's the first one. Would you rather compete in niches where there are a ton of directly competing offers? The sellers are insanely aggressive with their marketing. Their listing gets tons of reviews with high review velocity, and there's little click share left for you to grab. Or would you rather live in scenario number 2, where you get to compete in niches where there are not very many direct competitors, the sellers are not very aggressive, other listings are getting reviews slowly, and there's a ton of click share open for you to grab? The answer is obvious, isn't it? You want to live in scenario 2 every single time, or at least I do. Look, most of you have accidentally entered very competitive markets by mistake, and you're left wondering why growing is so difficult and why you make so little profit. How many of you evaluated these indicators before your latest product launch on Amazon? Did you make sure there were a small number of competitors and that sellers are not very aggressive with their marketing? Did you make sure that other listings are getting reviews slowly and there's a ton of click share open for you to grab? I hope so. The product that you sell is the foundation to the success of your brand. It is the number one factor in how much money you're going to make, period. You can try every PPC strategy, the latest keyword tricks, review tactics, all of it. But if you're not selling the right product at the right time, meaning a product that people actually want to buy, it will always feel like you're pushing that boulder up a hill. But what if all 4 factors line up? What happens then? Well, these are what we call hidden gems. Hidden gems represent massive opportunities on Amazon. Check out the stats on the products that we've actually launched that meet this criteria. Here's an example of a hidden gem product opportunity. The product costs $7.89. from our manufacturer, and we're able to sell it for $59.99. That's an insane markup, isn't it? And we sell around 750,000 of this product per year. Here's another example. The product cost us $3.35 from our manufacturer. We sold it at the time for almost $70. That's almost 20 times markup. And we sold more than $2 million per year before we sold the business. Here's another example. All right, this is a product that we launched that was also a hidden gem. The product cost $295 from our manufacturer. All right, we sold it for $39.99. But here's the best part. We sold $3.6 million per year. This business literally printed money, and it was such an easy business to exit. These examples are just the beginning, though. But here's the real interesting thing. We didn't have the best PPC strategy, listings, review strategies. We didn't have the best launch plan or packaging, but we made more profit than other sellers. Why? Because we continue to launch the right products in the right niches at the right time. And you can too. And this is where most of you are completely messing it up. You think that you can optimize a losing product and turn it into a winner. You're wrong. The answer is simple. Just launch more winning products. Launching winning products is the formula to highly profitable growing Amazon business. But most of us are scared to launch again and again because we've gotten it wrong too many times. It's scary to get it wrong, isn't it? I'm with you there. But when you get it right, it's like a balloon. When you let it go, it just keeps rising without any effort. But then what? Well, if you want to know how to double the revenue of your already winning product in the next 30 days, join me on this Thursday. It's great timing because I'm going to do a quick Zoom call where I'm going to reveal the secret of doubling your Amazon sales in the next 30 days. You can scan the QR code or go to seenonwebinar.com. Vincenzo, you're amazing. Thanks for bringing an amazing audience here and for the opportunity, man.
Thank you, Shawn. I appreciate it. Like, I think what you built on today was super, super important. I think identifying trends and the right product is really the foundation of any success. And you mentioned there's something that happens a lot. Like when people come to us, it happens that people sometimes think that the issue is the PPC or their listing or the image, but sometimes it's the product. I would say product is like 70-80% of the success. So doubling down on that point and really showing people how they can stay ahead was definitely a good point to make. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you for being here.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
And I remember everybody on today's webinar to please start leaving some of the questions below. I see some of the questions are already starting to get a log on the system. So then towards the end of the webinar, we're going to make sure we're going to go in depth and make sure we can open the conversation, go one by one. Okay. Awesome. So next one, we have right now in line, let me just see, Pasha. Pasha, I can see you now. Good. So how you doing, Pasha?
I'm doing well, Vincenzo. Thank you for having me on, and great presentation so far. I'm loving it. Lots of good information here for all the sellers and hope even service providers. I think everybody can get something out of this.
Yes, thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be here. And please give us a brief introduction by yourself, your company, and let's go from there. Yeah, thank you.
Sure thing. So my name is Pasha Knish, and I run AMZ Optimized. We're a full service Amazon agency. We work mostly in the US, but some accounts in the UK, Europe, and other things. We're always testing and learning new things, but our primary focus is on content and ads and operations. And I also have a podcast, Agency Operators Podcast, where I think we just recorded episode 70 something. So yeah, would love to make my presentation now.
Awesome.
I'm going to be talking about quarter five. This is actually a term that I learned not too long ago. Everyone's talking about quarter four, but not enough about quarter five. It's a new term for a very small window, which is really just kind of like after the Christmas period and into early January. But I think it's a very important period because everyone's so focused on sales. Quarter four, holidays, and then it's like that almost like depression that comes after Christmas shopping is done. In terms of like e-commerce, I think people hopefully are not depressed, but I think it's important to think about that period. And I'll share my screen here. All right, let me know if you could see that.
Yeah, we can.
Great. All right. So quarter five. So we all know that quarter four is bigger and bigger every year. Last year, Amazon did 187 billion in sales, and that's up 10% from the year prior. I'm expecting this year is going to be even bigger. And, you know, hooray to third-party sellers. We make up 62% of all those units sold. So I'm really happy to see that third-party sellers are continuing to drive Amazon's growth. And hopefully they treat us better and better with all of the fees and everything that they're throwing at us. So as we're approaching, though, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, everyone was talking about that. You know, that's kind of top of mind. Sales are going a little bit erratic. They're dipping slightly before, then they go crazy during the major deal event, and then they decline right after. And so there's this sort of like, you know, instability in the market. CPCs are going all over the place, and everyone is trying to figure out how to build and sustain momentum, but also stability during that period. So I think it's very important for brands to participate and not fall behind, because even though I'll get into the details, but many of us say, you know, maybe it's not worth it. You know, all of the sales dip, then they increase, then they dip again, but then the fees are high, and then I have to do a coupon, and so I don't participate. So this is me encouraging actually people to participate regardless and treat this more as an investment strategy into the following year. So understanding the fee landscape. Yeah, from October the 15th to mid-January, many of us will start looking at our P&Ls and saying, what's going on over here? You know, I'm not getting as many disbursements, not making as much profit. And yeah, fulfillment is very high. Storage is very high. As you can see, you know, compared to these rough numbers, you know, we're at like 3x almost in terms of storage fees. So same thing with low inventory fee. Of course, they're averaging the low inventory fee on a 60 and 90-day window, but yeah, all of these fees are something to consider when you're in fourth quarter, and not something that you should necessarily base the rest of the year on when you're looking at fourth quarter numbers. Again, looking at this as an investment is ideal. So as much as we can, we try to control. So we should track as much as we can the blended cost weekly and adjust pricing based on kind of where we're at, and also what we're trying to do with the deals and with the coupons that we're running during this time. And if you can try to stay above break even, that's obviously the best place to be. Some accounts, as was just mentioned, you know, some accounts are running in a negative. So you have to be in a positive profit even during fourth quarter, despite all of these fees. And if you don't, then again, go back to your pricing, go back to other parts of your strategy to understand why. So to manage profit, you need live data, not just monthly reporting. That's something that we do. We share dashboards that our clients are able to log into and just track in real time what's actually going on in their account. So tools that we like are Seller Board or Merchant Spring. There's many out there. You have Amazon's fee preview and all kinds of different reports that you could use to really understand what your COGS actually are and understand what all the Amazon fees are. And so use that to truly understand your numbers and stay in the green. Actually using automation during this time more is probably ideal. I think it's always a blended approach of using tools, ad tech tools like Packview or Trellis. Those are tools that we really like. And using these tools to essentially stay stable during this period because of all of the erratic CPCs. I'm sure Ali is going to talk more about that coming up soon. And yeah, manual bidding is still important and can still perform well, but you have to be really on top of it. So if you don't have a team that's really looking at these things on a day-to-day, hour by hour, then using automation is ideal. And then also look for opportunities in things that are not so populated. So right now we're going through a period where CPCs are rising because of a price war on bids in the auction house. And if you can find campaign types that are, you know, sponsored video or sponsored brands or any, you know, any types that are not as competitive in their CPC, you can identify those keywords ahead of time and then, you know, use that as a strategy to fill in the holes where everybody else is kind of fighting. Staying agile with inventory. So I think a couple things to keep in mind is checking stranded and reserved units daily to resolve issues quickly and make sure that everything is sellable. Converting excess units into velocity. So again, going into your pricing, your P&L, adding coupons, sponsored product, pushing sponsored product on certain units. And then also just making sure that you have overstock in the back somewhere, because Amazon is not really accepting as much inventory, nor do you want to pay those crazy fees sending everything in there. So having a third-party logistics solution or using AWD if you were able to do that ahead of time, or even just having an FBM offer, which might be actually your 3PL, is ideal to ensure that you have the right units to support the sales that would come as a result of fourth quarter into quarter 5 and into early 2026. So, you're building all that momentum right now. You don't want to lose it. And I've seen that happen. So people are super happy about holiday sales, and all of a sudden they can't capture any of that momentum and any of that rank increase because they just ran out of stock. So, and the last thing is use this as an opportunity to move your slow products. We have seasonal products that might not be so relevant. You don't want them sitting around. We might have overstock. So use that as an opportunity to liquidate. And also, we're right now, what is this recording date is early to mid-November. So we're still with a little bit of time left for the holidays. It's never too late to make a couple tweaks to the content. There's plenty of AI tools out there that will allow you to do this. So, swapping something for a gift-oriented lifestyle photo, or making some optimizations for mobile, like moving bullet points, the first couple words being the core benefits, front loading that so people on mobile can see it, adding seasonal keywords into your title wherever it makes sense, like holiday sets, stocking stuffer, and reviewing search query performance to ensure that we're on top of the holiday keywords. These are all small things that don't take a lot of time, and it's not too late. Advertising. This is what it looks like, heat map, when we're talking about things like day parting. So making sure that we're using, again, ad tech solutions to do these types of strategies where you're trying to find the optimizations where you can. I think it was funny because 10, 15 years ago, you could just turn on Google ads and send them to your listing and you make money. Now you have to be so granular because there's such a high level of competition. So anything that you can do to minimize spend during times when sales are not happening and optimize and move that spend over to times when sales are happening using data is ideal. And again, using video and display for retargeting and choosing these kind of formats based on cost efficiency. So don't participate in those keyword wars if you can avoid it. And then also shifting some of your ad spend to remarketing, that you'll focus on that kind of once we get into first quarter. I think remarketing is top of mind to ensure that we don't stay around in that kind of dip. So the smartest sellers, they treat peak season as an intelligence gathering mission. And so you can use things like brand tailored promotions to reward those repeat buys or high value buyers with some discounts after Christmas. So again, focusing on the retargeting, exporting your search query from fourth quarter ad performance reports to identify the keywords that drove the profits, and using DSP or brand tailored audiences in January when the costs drop. So January always is historically the cheapest and calmest ad environment. Everybody's sort of cooling off. So we could use that as a time to relaunch with fresh messaging in first quarter, relaunching those top performers with brand new content, new year, new me, that type of messaging, of course, depending on the product. But a lot of the time that really does resonate with people. They treat the new year as a way to start off on the right foot for the year and work on the things that they want to work on. Testing different kind of bundles. Amazon is always rolling out new updates when it comes to bundling and virtual bundling, making it easier and easier to do that. So you can always create variations and do those kind of bundles based on the keyword research that you collect. And then as much as possible, shift your ad spend to the remarketing. So final takeaways are, I really think it's important to audit as much as possible, stay on top of your numbers, stay on top of your stock levels, and try to use this as a way to build a momentum now so you can take 2026 by the reins and guide it in the way that you want. So I'm happy to speak to anybody. I know we're kind of getting into the season, but if anybody wants a Q1 readiness audit, you can just scan the QR code here and schedule a time to talk to me, or you can just reach out to myself, Pasha at amzoptimized.com. That's it for today.
Thank you, Pasha.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. No, I think this is super, super important, and I love how you pointed to the importance of getting ready for Q1 and all of that, because I think a lot of times it happens that people focus too much on what is going to happen in Q4, and then they deplete their budget or inventory, and then they find themselves in January with essentially nothing to build on top of it. So thank you
Yep.
for making that transition very very clear in terms of from a strategic point of view. Appreciate it, man.
Sure.
And for
Thank you,
any
Vincenzo.
question that you guys may have to for Pasha, please, as I mentioned in the previous episode, leave it below, and then towards the end of the webinar we can go in depth. So cool. Next one, we have Daniel, that he's gonna be talking around TikTok. How you doing, Daniel?
Hey Vincenzo, doing great. How are you?
Good, good, man. Thank you so much for being here. I think it's second
Sure.
time you're on the show, so it's a pleasure, man. Thank you.
It's always the pleasure for me, and it's been great pleasure to talk with such a great previous speaker. So I'll try to keep it short because it's been already an hour, right? I'm Danil, CEO, co-founder of Insense. What is Insense? Is a creator marketplace. We have 70,000 vetted creators in our network. But today I'm going to be talking about how to drive traffic from TikTok to Amazon, because it's 2025, but so many sellers, they're not leveraging this hack yet, which is a big time surprise for me. So let me share my screen. That might be helpful for us to go through these slides. So yeah, as I mentioned, I'm Danil, CEO, co-founder, based in New York City. I'm really passionate about creator commerce, UGC, affiliate, you name it, right? So everything that is related to creator marketing, and specifically for e-commerce. And yeah, speaking at the e-commerce events, because share is caring, right? So that's the approach that we are taking in our company. But yeah, so far we as the company, we've been running over 8 years in the space, primarily focusing on the English-speaking markets, but also presented in Europe. And we facilitate over 100,000 brand creator partnerships for more than 2,500 e-commerce brands. So typically brands, especially from Amazon, they coming to our platform for the cold start solutions, also to produce the content. But a few years ago, one of the key sellers, they came to us with a pretty interesting use case, calling that, how about like driving traffic from TikTok to Amazon, which was a big insight to our team, because we never assumed that you can work with the influencers at that angle. So the idea here is not driving the affiliate revenue. It's more about like how to drive the traffic. And then basically we realized that what is the reason behind these things? And the reason is pretty much simple, because TikTok has just a crazy traffic. Like people are spending a lot of time there. So if you're going to be taking a look on the how much of the overall time spent by your users, like your customers, TikTok is going to be winning, as well as like Instagram, right? Like those two platforms are going to be the winners, and then like following by like Netflix and all of these companies. But still, if people are going to be browsing during the day, then probably those two social platforms are going to be the winners. And then what is interesting is the reason why it's become a trend and a solution is because they found the clear narrative between people spending the time on TikTok to discover products, to make a decision and purchase on the e-commerce platforms. So that's actually the trend that TikTok trying to capture with their own solution, TikTok Shop, as we heard here. But still, there's a great opportunity how to drive the traffic, because TikTok users in the US, they tend to discover product first on the platform, right? And then you're putting them into the consideration, and then they starting wondering about that. So right now there's a more easy way to go and purchase on TikTok Shop, like as a native platform. But at the same time, what have been discovered by so many Amazon sellers is that actually then many users, they're not really clicking on the purchase on TikTok itself, but they prefer the top e-commerce platform, which is Amazon, right? So they actually going there and search for the products, and there's a spikes between the activations with influencers and then the Amazon sales within the 1 week window. This is something that we're going to be talking a bit later. But yeah, here's the some stats, like why you think considering to play the content game on TikTok is because like users who discovered the product on the platform 2.5 times more likely to make a purchase on Amazon. I think that's period. That's the full stop where we can already starting considering that. But there are also product searches on Amazon directly influenced by TikTok increased by 40% year to year. The hashtags has been increased in Amazon sales. Those are the data that are playing behind, but I guess like that's the narrative. People are spending some time on the platform. They're not really spending time on Amazon, right? So because Amazon, it's more about like when I already ready to with some purchase intent and I'm ready to make a purchase, right? And then we can start in upselling with the different signals and so on. But people are not coming there to spend the time. People are coming to spend the time on TikTok or Instagram. So that's the where we need to capture their attention. So here's the few tips from our side how to work there. So first of all, do not ask TikTokers to just post like with the links to your Amazon product pages, and that's actually the reason why many sellers they're using these TikTokers is because it helps with the Amazon searching engine to prioritize product pages, right? But instead, it's better to ask them to create videos that shows your product USP, right? And then do not ask them to put the link in the bio and so on, but instead ask them like how to like literally scroll down on the app of Amazon and searching the product. So this is kind of like you're going to be asking the potential customers to have this experience that they found this on TikTok and then they go to the Amazon app and they start searching for the product. This is something that the best performing, what we encourage. Yes, there is no direct connection and there is a lack of how to attribute those connections, but still I think what is important is a numbers game and seeing these spikes. What is important when you're going to be talking to the influencers? It's definitely working on the brief. So just showcasing exactly that you need to have the screen recording, showcasing your brand, product name typed in the Amazon search bar. This is like the key how it's going to be working. And then also providing the product guidelines, USP of the product. So something that you need to equip them. Why customers will see the product, the promotion on the product on TikTok, and then they would be interested on going to Amazon and purchase. So for instance, it's going to be some special bundle that is going to be promoted there, or it's going to be a special offer, right? This is really important. And another thing is that what we found that it's not only about the organic, because organic is really important, and I think it's only increasing, especially like giving the LLMs are starting searching by Instagram and starting prioritizing those products. We know about that, but overall, we don't believe in organic only strategy or paid only strategy. So what we believe is the organic plus paid, meaning that you're going to be working with some of the creators. You will see that the content is really great. So what you can do, you can spark those connections and running the ads on behalf of the influencer handles. So in that case, you can drive the scale. So this is the easiest way how you can drive better traffic going from TikTok to Amazon, because more people will see that. And that's what Amazon is going to be prioritized as the external traffic, which is really important. And then attribution, right? I'm saying that do not put the link directly to this page if it's not the ads. So if it's ads, yes, you can do that because it's more makes sense to do this way. But like for the organic posting, we do not recommend to use any links, because in that case, you're going to be deprioritized by the TikTok itself. But what you can do, you can use the 1 week window attribution, just to seeing that there is you hired like, let's say 50 influencers, they all posted, and then just apply the 1 week window attribution. So to see the spikes. And what we've been observed that so many sellers on TikTok shop, they're using this strategy to see the spikes on Amazon sales. So they would assume that people are going to be preferring to purchase something on TikTok Shop because it's so easy, right? It's just one click. But in reality, what is happening is that people are putting there into the consideration mode. And then once they are ready, they're going to be going to the preferred e-commerce platform and then make the purchase. And yeah, Spark Ads launched, wait for at least 1 week, seeing that what's up with the results, seeing the Amazon analytics, and if the keyword search increased, you can also put some specific keyword searches. So in that case, you can at least attribute like as the channel, not like per creator. And here's the example of the some of the supplement brands. So they work with they launch on TikTok Shop, right? And what is the correlation between TikTok Shop was that once they launch and starting hiring a lot of creators last year, they sold 60,000 units of their vitamin D3 plus K2 on Amazon. So the assumption was like we're going to be driving this on TikTok Shop, and TikTok Shop is going to be the top channel as the performance for us. But in reality, even though like it was promoted with the destination of TikTok Shop, the reality is that Amazon converting them. So this is the power, and this is the use case that I've heard so many times. Also from TikTok Shop team itself, they they don't like it, but it's something that is happening, and it's like a kind of echo situation. So that would be it from my side. So do not ignore the power of TikTok. TikTok is still in one of the best in the game in terms of the capturing organic traffic, but you also can mix it up this with the Spark Ads. So in that case, you can drive like really big traffic, and then you can just attribute this echo sales that is happening on Amazon. But think about like how to pitch creators and what is going to be the creative itself. And from my side, like as anyone shares, so we have the special offer. It's a 200 bonus with a quarterly subscription and the strategy call in case that you're new to the creator marketing or you want to review your creator marketing strategy. So we have a team who can advise you on any front. And we're serving D2C brands as well. So in case that you also have D2C business. That would be it from my side.
Thank you, Daniel. It was a pleasure. And I think, this topic is something that a lot of sellers onto this webinar are going to find very insightful, because I always say, like, as the more competitive Amazon gets, you definitely need to find for ways to find traffic outside of it. And TikTok is definitely been one of the sources, even for us, that's been working very good when it comes to, navigating the high cost per click, creating that virality effect. So I think you did a very good job making sure that people is aware of it and what are some of the steps to maximize that. So I appreciate that. Yeah. And if there is
Thank
any
you.
question, by the way, guys, for Daniel for TikTok, please feel free to drop them below. And then, of course, towards the end, we can cover them. Okay. Awesome. So now we jump into next speaker of the day. We have Riley Johnsen. How you doing, Riley?
I'm doing great, Vincenzo. Thank you so much for the opportunity here to present, and thanks for everyone's time as well who's here on the webinar.
Thank you.
Just wanted to double check, is everyone able to
Yes.
see my slide deck here? Awesome.
Yes. So I
Cool.
think if you put it full screen, awesome. We can see it now. Awesome. You can proceed. Yeah. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Well, just a little bit about myself. My name's Riley Johnsen. I'm based here in Austin, Texas. I've been in the U.S. business space for close to 7 years, helped personally set up about 11,000 U.S. companies, along with after the formation of that company, assisting with the bookkeeping, business taxes, and at Doola, we have a lot of e-commerce analytics tools built in as well. But Doola as a whole, we've been established for about 5 years now. We're a Y Combinator backed company. Some of our investors include the founder of HubSpot, Nexus Venture Partners, and investors from the Hustle Fund. Currently, Doola has about 15,000 active customers. Most of our client base are non-US residents, so we can help form a US entity. It's typically an LLC, but a U.S. entity here, whether you're not on U.S. soil. We, of course, help out U.S. residents and U.S. taxpayers as well. But in essence, from start to finish, our business in a box plan sets up a new U.S. company as an extension of your existing company offshore, or if you already have an existing U.S. company, we can also service those clients as well and help with all the back office things like taxes, bookkeeping. Um, but uh, Business in a Box is our product that includes basically everything for a founder. So as I mentioned, if you're brand new to the US market, you do not have a US entity, an existing LLC or corporation, um, we file those start to finish. We provide all the US addresses. We obtain the EIN number for your company. We have several banking partners where you can set up a US business bank account without having to travel to the United States. And then more importantly, if you already have an existing company, we also offer all of those same backend services, meaning after the company's set up, whether it's in the busy rush here in ecom in Q4 or throughout the year, we handle all the annual state filings at the state level, as well as the big kind of scary IRS filings for the entity as well. Part of that process, we have a custom software that's designed for all verticals of US entities, but we have a heavy focus on e-commerce and Amazon specifically. So our software and platform links with over 14,000 US banks, Stripe, PayPal, and then directly into your Amazon store as well. Um, on top of our software offering, you have 3 dedicated humans as well as part of our business in a box plan. So you'll have an account manager, and that's like your personal customer service guy or girl. They can hop on calls with you anytime throughout the year. They're available by email and chat, but they can help with about 85% of things that come up, anything that's not like super deep tax or bookkeeping related. The second human you'd have on your team with Doola is we have, I believe, about 15 at this point, in-house CPAs, certified public accountants, so licensed U.S. tax preparers. They're here to answer any and all U.S. tax questions, top to bottom, but then more importantly, based off all the data from your U.S. business's bank account, its Amazon store, its inventory, your CPA here at Doola will just flat out file all the U.S. taxes for the entity at both the state and federal level with the IRS. And then third human you have at Doola is you also have a dedicated human bookkeeper. So on a daily and weekly and monthly basis, they go into the transaction log that is generated from your US business bank account or accounts, also from your Amazon store. So essentially, there'll be a full transaction log of all revenue, all expenses that come through the US company, and that dedicated human bookkeeper tags and categorizes all of them. We want to aggressively find as many business expenses and write-offs as we can, because our goal is to legally and compliantly lower this company's net overall profit, which is ultimately what you're being taxed on. But that also does tie into our e-commerce analytics platform, which again, it all lives in one customized dashboard and receives and feeds all this information in from any and all financial accounts for the company, as well as, of course, the Amazon store specifically. We also integrate with Shopify and most other e-commerce platforms, but Amazon being the main focus. So we really look at the challenges that founders face and the services that we offer. We try to kind of silo those into 4 main categories. So first one, of course, being formation. As I mentioned, whether you're here in the United States or you're abroad or U.S. citizen or non-resident, if you do not have a U.S. entity, we handle that process top to bottom. So we provide all the U.S. addresses. We form the U.S. company in any of the 50 states that we have here. We also get the EIN number, which is the federal tax identification number assigned to your U.S. entity. And then as part of that, we provide the registered agent service, which is the required U.S. address. or addresses for the entity. And then, of course, with e-commerce, we also handle all the sales tax and resellers certificate and the tracking and remittance to the other 50 US states. Very high level. That's the equivalent of like a VAT or value added tax in EU or other parts of the world. But to tie all that together, we, as I mentioned, do handle all the bookkeeping for the US entity. So every transaction, including sales tax, will feed directly into your Doola dashboard. And your human dedicated bookkeeper here at Doola does go in and reconcile and tag all those transactions essentially in real time. And we always do a hard at the end of the month reconciliation on every transaction as well. And then tying that into sales tax, we also offer the monthly and quarterly closings for that aspect. We also can and do file quarterly taxes with the IRS, our federal government, for the entity as well. That leads into the second human that you have here at Doola, which would be your CPA. And you can book calls with them throughout the year if you have deep, complex tax topics you want to go over. They're also very quick on email if it's just a quick question like, hey, can I write off this plane ticket? But calls or no calls, they'll take the aggregated data feed that we have from both your Amazon store and your US business bank accounts, and they will just handle all the US taxes, which basically are broken into three main components in the e-com world. There's the sales tax charged on each sale or each item that you're selling. There's, in most states, not Wyoming or Delaware, there is annual state taxes that get filed with the specific state that your company's filed with. And then unfortunately, what applies to every U.S. entity are federal taxes with the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. So your CPA handles any and all taxes for the entity top to bottom. And then just on the analytics side, as I think I've mentioned probably too many times, our software will link directly to your Amazon store. You can track AOV, cost per goods, your top selling product. You can manage your inventory. You can also isolate and gain insights on some of your top selling products. And then, of course, you can track any refunds or returns that tie into the overall performance of the store itself. And just a different kind of view on those services as well. We are built for founders. Almost everyone, myself included, here at Doola is or was an entrepreneur at some sort. So we own our own companies as well as forming them here at Doola. But to just give a different view on those four main pain points that we address, we can set up a brand new US company for you. We handle all the bookkeeping, we handle all the taxes, and then we also handle all the analytics and e-com insights. We provide two main plans here at Doola, being total compliance and business in a box. We do have flat pricing, so either of our plans, regardless of the number of transactions, your revenue, your inventory, any of those factors, we're a fixed cost that you can build into your budget for the year. With both of these plans, we can either form a brand new company, or if you already have an existing US LLC or C corporation, you can move it over to Doola into our ecosystem. But in either situation, we handle tax and bookkeeping on the US side, top to bottom. And we do have somewhat flexible monthly payments as well for our business in a box plan. But just a further breakdown on these two plans, they are essentially the same. The only main difference between total compliance and business in a box is total compliance. You have two humans on your team. You'll still have our bookkeeping software that integrates to your Amazon store as well as all your US business bank accounts. there's probably just a couple of hours on your side with total compliance each month of just going in and tagging and reconciling some of those transactions, as there's not a dedicated human bookkeeper in that plan. With Business in a Box, you have all three humans that I had mentioned before. So you'll have almost an extra employee here at Doola, your dedicated human bookkeeper, and they'll go in and tag and categorize every single transaction that comes through the entity, along with handling all the sales tax and remittance to the other states. We've also launched what we call an AI co-founder. So our AI co-founder is an LLM, a large language model. So essentially similar to ChatGPT in a lot of ways, but we have fed it our 15,000 customers conversations, as well as non-sensitive data from conversations with your CPA here at Doola. So to keep it short and sweet, if it's 3 in the morning or very late at night and you don't want to hop on a call with one of the humans you have here at Doola, AI co-founder is essentially like a chat GPT, but all centered around LLC or C corporation owner data and questions. So it's almost like a fourth human that you have here at Doola. Um, but AI co-founder also does integrate with our software that I had mentioned. So you can use it to consolidate data, manage files and transactions instantly. It helps with a lot of the busy or boring tasks, I'd say, in the bookkeeping platform, which can be really, really helpful, especially if you have the total compliance plan where you don't have a human dedicated bookkeeper here at Doola. So it can do some basic tasks for you in there as well. What I've found personally in the ecom space that's very valuable with the AI co-founder is it can pull a lot of automated insights from the order history that you have through your Amazon store. So it's very, very useful for tracking your inventory, tracking your orders in real time, and optimizing any AOV issues that you may have. And then we also do tie into almost all major ad platforms. So any meta platforms, which include IG and Facebook, of course. We integrate directly with TikTok and Amazon ads as well. So AI co-founder can help pull insights from a lot of your ad platforms as well and see what ads are working and or which ones are not maybe working as well as they should be. But overall, there will be links for all of this in the collateral that gets sent out. But you can always book a call with either me directly or another team member here at Doola if you have any questions about starting a new US company and using it for Amazon. Or as I mentioned, if you have an existing US entity and you wanted to migrate it over to the Doola ecosystem, we can help with that as well. So besides the three humans that I mentioned on your team, pre-signing up with Doola, there's a lot of human support, and it's very easy for us to hop on a quick call, either with myself directly or another business specialist here at Doola, so that we can help get you up and running for Q4 and of course beyond. But overall, that's my spiel that I have here, Vincenzo, and I
Thank
appreciate
you.
the time.
Thank you, Riley. I appreciate it. And I know sometimes everything that's with taxes and company can get it quite complex very fast, but at the end of the day, is the foundation of every, every brand. And I think understanding all the different corporations and everything you went through is definitely something that is super, super important. Otherwise, like that can be very costly, especially when you're looking to exit or things like that. So thank you, Riley. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Awesome. So next in line, we have my friend Ali. How you doing, Ali?
Hello, hello. How are you, my man? Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. How's everything going?
Everything's good. Everything's good. I thought I'd be seeing you over the last few days at Unboxed. Mr. Worldwide is what I like to call
Man,
you.
Q4. Too busy.
Too busy, huh? Too busy. Well, I think
So
there's gonna be some fun stuff on the AMC side and actually some fun stuff that Amazon released actually over the last couple of days.
yeah, like I know you are right now still in Nashville, right?
I'm in Nashville right now. I'm sitting in my hotel room. I could not find a quiet spot on the Unboxed floor there to do
No
this
worries.
from.
Good, bro.
But
So yeah, like tell us, a bit of what is happening. Of course, also introduce yourself and the company, and the floor is yours. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm going to I gotta so let's can you see my screen? We're all good?
Yeah, yeah.
But you got to always ask that question. Hey everyone, my name is Ali. I'm the Chief Growth Officer here at Trellis. We are an AI-powered ads dynamic pricing platform to help brands grow more profitably, whether it be from PPC on the sponsor side, DSP, AMC, changing your price to drive profit, bringing all those things together underneath one roof to help brands and agencies alike to run effective campaigns. So I'm going to talk a lot about AMC and DSP today. Before I do that, though, I do want to get into something that came out yesterday. I'm not sure how many people have actually seen this yet, but new ad format. It's something that Vincenzo, you and I have actually talked about this,
Yeah.
that it would be awesome for them to actually pull this out, and they finally did. Which was a nice one to do. But sponsored products video, you can upload 1 to 5 videos looking at different features, and so you can kind of see. I pulled a screenshot in here as well, so you can kind of see like the attributes or like the descriptive text as they're calling it. But easy to use, 20 bar pump. It's going to really, in my opinion, this is actually going to be a really popular format. For those that aren't, you can definitely leverage it during the Q4 season, but really being able to showcase, especially on mobile, right? Being able to showcase a video, something of your product actually in real life, leveraging some of the tactics you got here. I think Ben had to turn that image into a video one as well. But leveraging those as well is going to be really fun. If you haven't seen it yet, you can head over to the Unbox website. They're talking a lot about it too. Vincenzo, you going to use this or what?
Yeah, of course, man. My team is already working on this. What do you think?
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, to stay ahead of the curve always.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
The other one that I really like and actually really helps a lot with my conversation having today, the 25-month look back window. So for those that didn't know, AMC would only allow for 13 months of ad traffic look back. Now they've expanded that back to 25 months. And so think about your long-term trends. Think about looking at how do I look at Q3? How to look at Q4 in 2024 and in 2023. A lot of this data will help look and identify how your performance is being driven beyond just the time horizon that they had before. And so if you don't have this already, you can actually head over. AMC is being democratized for everyone. And we'll talk a bit more, but take a look at that, right? When you're starting to plan, and everyone should be already planning, if not already got all of their inventory in for the Q4 season here. But when you're thinking about your ads, thinking about how you're going to run them, look at your trends, right? Look at the traffic that you're getting, the conversions. Look at some of the DSP. If you haven't run DSP for that long, all good. But there's going to be a lot of information here that you can leverage to identify how you should be entering market. And a lot of that is because 40% of our revenue is coming in Q4. I know that to be true for a lot of people. A lot of the conversations I've had over the last couple of days as well. Everyone's in the thick of it. That's why Mr. Worldwide's not here as well, helping drive that revenue gain for his brands that he works with too. And so for every single one of us, this is our biggest time of year. The opportunity and the impact of Q4 is massive. And so if there are more tooling, which Amazon did announce today and yesterday as well, it's it's our responsibility to actually use it as well, right? Let's get ahead of it. Let's make sure we're actually incorporating it too. And so let's not lose sight of Q4. And so when we think about it, all of us do this in some shape or form, right? We increase our discounts because we want to hit those revenue goals. We want to get the numbers out. We want to push the units in that we brought in, right? We increase our bids too, right? How much we're willing to pay, when we're willing to pay those. For BFCM, and there's actually a drop-off period if you actually look at the data about a week before Christmas there too. But we're always bidding higher. We're spending more and more, and as a result, our budgets are getting bigger and bigger. But ultimately, this just takes away from our margins, right? Like you saw, Shawn Hart said the same thing. Like profitability is the goal. We're all trying to make money too. And so when we come out of it and looking at the look back window as well, how profitable were we last year? How profitable were we there the year before? How do we maintain our profitability? And we do all of this in service of moving more product, right? Trying to get those record sales, that LinkedIn post of, hey, we grew X number this year, and putting it out there. But more volume doesn't mean more profitability always. And in the way that we normally do it, in the way that all of us normally do it, it actually never equals more profitability, right? We move more units, we get the inventory off the line, but it's more important for us to think about how do we increase that profitability, right? And those record sales are often not tied back to record profitability. And there's fundamentally a big shift, right? And so I like to say this, and I've said this a lot over the last 48 hours to people and over the last few months as well. But it's not about how loud you shout. It's not about how much you increase your bids. It's about who you talk to, right? And how you talk to them. And so, what do I mean by that, right? It's often people are like, wait, Ali, what are you talking about? Why are you saying, like, what do you mean? Where can I find more information? How do I figure out what to do and who I should talk to? And ultimately, because we all run the same playbook every holiday season, we do it over and over again, more competitors, more discounts, more bids. We can't do the same stuff anymore, right? That's why you come to webinars like this, you come to conversations like this, that how do we be better? How do we drive better for our brands as well? And so what is the solution? If you saw the topic for my presentation here, it's AMC and DSP. It's a big part of it. And so audiences, which audiences to build, how to target them, and also leveraging that on DSP as well. I'm gonna go into all of it here too, because ultimately we want to be able to acquire smarter, not just spend a boatload of money, not just increase our discounts, not to increase our bids. We want to acquire smarter. But it's not just about new to brand growth here. It's also about making sure that the people who buy from you, not just the ones that buy frequently from you, but also the ones that bought in the last holiday season from you, are able to actually come back to you and buy again, right? And the last part of this is monetize smarter, right? Let's get bundles in front of people. Let's actually increase our AOV during this holiday season, so that when we do acquire that customer, we're more profitable as well, right? And so we can be more profitable. It fundamentally, we actually can. It's just shifting the way we think about it and leveraging the tooling and infrastructure that we have available to us as well. And so what do I mean by acquire customer? I was told I got 10 minutes here, so I'm stacking this. There's gonna be a lot of information. Vincenzo, you are sending this out to everyone after, right? All right.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
right.
So acquire smarter. It's start measuring your acquisition cost from your brand. That I'm willing to spend this much money to acquire a new customer, right? And so I want to acquire customers today that can actually get me into 2026, that I can keep targeting later on. That if I get someone today, I'm getting them into my brand. What's my plan for them after, which we'll talk about as well. But let's make sure we're actually getting people that look like our best customer. And so what are the audiences that you should create leveraging AMC here? All of my highest LTV. If you're not looking at LTV, you got to be looking at LTV. I highly recommend it. What is the lifetime value of my customer? And creating lookalike audiences from there. The second part is people who are browsing in the category, right? We know that they're interested in the product. We know that they're interested, arguably interested in other elements within our catalog as well, that we can target them after. Let's go after those people too. People who are buying our competitors, people who are engaging with us at the higher elements of the funnel. But let's actually hit these audiences and target these groups of people to go after them. What we've been able to see, and from the data that we've looked at over actually hitting some of these people and some of these categories, in some of these audiences, it's all about driving that new to brand cost down, right? So the customer acquisition cost, all about bringing that down, that then we can actually hit, and customers that we want to keep, not just people who are going to make one-time purchases with us, people we want to keep that we can target later on too. So for Q4, the goal is to acquire new to brand customers that look like my best customers, that could be my best customers, that I can sell to grow from in 2026 as well, right? What you do now will hit your numbers for this year, but getting these customers will fuel your 2026. It's super important to keep that in mind as you're looking at these audiences and targeting them. Some KPIs to look at as you see how you're performing here as well. What is my percentage of new to brand percentage of orders, my cost per my CAC for new to brand as well, and really in analyzing and understanding your path to conversion here. Which ad placements are helping drive that for me? Which products are the ones that people come back to? And AMC can give you a lot of that information to be able to understand this is the product that people buy from me the most. It's the number one product that people buy. And at Trellis, we look at something called Halo Rank, which is a combination of your new to brand along with your organic sales too. Sorry, your paid and your organic sales. And so what is the number one product that drives the most amount of revenue for me across my entire catalog? That's the one we want to get people into, because we know that we can get them to buy other things from there too, right? So what is that gateway product? And that's the one we want to hit. So when you're thinking about acquiring smarter, it's all about new to brand that will help you acquire that customer today, that you can also hit them again next year as well. So let's talk about retain smarter, right? It's we have we want to keep customers who are those one-time buyers. There's so many brands that exist and so many products that we have that people only buy from us during the holiday seasons or because it's on sale or whatever it may be. And so those seasonal gifters, the people who we need to nurture, we want to focus those, not the people who repeat automatically. Forget the people that already buy from you. We're going to target them in the same way we already do, but let's focus our spend to go after the people that buy from us on the seasonal cycle, right? AMC is going to help you with a lot of that. So who are those one-time buyers over the course of Q4 last year? Who are the one-time buyers that even hit you at Prime Day as well, right? Who are those customers for you? And let's make sure we're capturing those audiences. And so you're seeing one-time buyers, seasonal gifters. I talk about cross-sell audiences here as well. I don't know if I have nearly enough time to actually dive into that, but I highly recommend that and hit me up. My information is available pretty much everywhere on the internet at this point. But hit me up. I'm happy to talk to you about that too. But it's people that we can actually, they bought product one from us, that we can hit them with a different product this year. And on the next one, I'll tell you about what type of products to hit them with. The outcome here, we're actually going after people who exclusively buy from us, not the ones who are already going to buy from us because they repeat all the time, but the ones that buy from us on that one-time cycle. That's how we get the retain smarter, that their gifts are our products. And we want them to come back and buy that over and over again, right? So what is that repeat purchase interval for that segment, the purchase rate from that segment, and what is the LTV that I'm driving as a result of that for that audience or that group of people for that brand? I see Vincenzo nodding his head. He's like, I think he's doing all of this right now.
It's a Bible for me.
Yeah, exactly. It should be the Bible for everyone. And this is the last part here, linking all these together, right? That you want to not just sell them one product. How do I hit them with a bundle? How do I hit the holiday bundle? Right? So how do I hit them with the multi-packs or the multiple? And those are the ones you want to get in front of those people as well. That, hey, you bought one last time. Once you buy a couple, once you buy three, let's actually target them to increase our AOV. Right? And so we know what customers already want. We know what they buy already. And if you don't know that, you got to look at that in your data. If they buy product one, product A, what do they buy next? Product B, product C. In turn, let's make sure we have those together there for people to actually buy the entire set, decreasing with the same customer acquisition cost, but increasing our AOV, making us more and more profitable on each one of those sales. So a larger, the bundle audience bought X, but not Y. We know what they bought before. Let's hit them with that. The multi-pack audiences and the cross-category gifters. And so people who are looking beyond just that individual category they're searching into. And so, and even better now, a lot of these audiences you can create on your own with the what they announced at Unbox as well yesterday, right? The agentic stuff that they did there too. And so the outcome of that, we're just getting bigger basket size. This is the sole goal here. Let's target people with bigger baskets, get higher AOV from them, and get better efficiency because your customer acquisition cost is going down. So what are my Halo orders? They bought product one, did they buy product two? That's what we're tracking. And we're also tracking our average order value here to make sure we are doing these things well. Vincenzo, you look at these numbers or what?
Yes, of course, man, all the time.
All the time. You got it. Right. And so fundamentally, we can all buy sales in Q4. You give me, I was having this conversation right before this actually. It's like, how do I want to make sure I hit my revenue target. And he's like, I have as much money as I need to hit my revenue target because that's what I have to report back onto as well to my boss and everyone else here, to the brand owner. And I get, but you're just buying sales. It doesn't make any sense. You don't need to buy sales anymore. Let's buy customers. Let's do it effectively. Let's do it smart, right? And if we do it well, we will actually buy better customers, right? We'll keep them for longer. We'll get the customers in today that we can sell to tomorrow. We'll get the seasonal gifters in that normally buy from us that we can increase and give them more of a higher basket size, right? And so you can do that all with AMC and DSP. A lot of you are saying, well, Ollie, all you said was AMC. We just did audiences, all of that. I've actually put together a strategy matrix because in 10 minutes, there's no chance I can walk you through all the DSP campaigns that you need for it. But at the very least, you got to start with the audiences. And so in this matrix, this is actually breaks down everything here. What your increased need of brand is. There's the three categories I talked about, fueling your 2026 growth, your why behind each one of these, the audiences that I referenced there as well, how you leverage DSP at the top of funnel for the middle of funnel and the bottom of funnel as well. Right. And so each one of these is going to break those down. and then also the impact that you'll have to it, right? What is my LTV impact? What is the lifetime value impact for me? What is my customer acquisition cost impact? Where I'm looking at short-term profit potential, but also long-term profit potential as well. Because if we're only looking at Q4, we're going to lose sight of the fact that we can actually get customers today that we can hit again in 2026. I can't stress that enough. This is your time to acquire new customers, not just buy sales, right? And so I really wanted to. That's all of this is here. You'll get this. Vincenzo's going to send it out to you. But at the end of the day, you want to hit me up. More than welcome to. My contact information is at the bottom there too. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Shoot me an email. Happy to talk about all these things. Fundamentally, Q4 is when we hustle, but not hustling to make the sales for Q4, so that we can hit 2026 and win bigger and better.
Yeah. Thank you, man, Ali. It was great. And, we always have this conversation when we see each other, all the events. And I definitely think that, combining AMC with DSP is definitely going to unlock that tap into the consumer that was never possible before. And
That's
I
it.
think you explained it so beautiful there. So thank you
Happy to,
for
man.
all
And
the slides,
I'm
man. Yeah.
I get really excited about this stuff. Like I'm amped up sitting over here. I'm sitting in my own hotel room by myself here.
Mm.
But CPCs are only going up. Everyone said that, right? So let's look at CPMs, right?
Yeah.
See, let's go for CPMs. It's more cost effective. You can win in different ways, right? Let's target those shoppers and remind them to buy off, like let's hit them off Amazon, right? Let's follow them somewhere else, right? And say, hey, don't forget, you bought this last year. Come back and buy this gift again. Oh, that's a great gift idea. I forgot about that. Right? Like, let's make sure we get in front of these buyers. So CPCs are going up, but don't lose sight on CPMs, man. But I know you know this, my guy. But thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. It's a pleasure always. So, guys, we are at the end of today's webinar. I'm just gonna allow like 3 or 4 minutes max to just answer some of the questions. I see they're still here on the back end, and then we give official closure to today's webinar. So I see one of the questions we got in here is regarding MC asking if it's a third-party tool or not. No, this Amazon Marketing Cloud, Mohammed. This is part of the Amazon toolset. So all the sellers should be actually be attributed access to this. So if not, you just can raise a case directly with Amazon or directly with Amazon Rep, and you should get access to this. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else wants to add something to that, but yeah.
That's entirely it.
Cool. So I think Sonia, custom chat GPTs, I think this is for Ben. So yeah, Ben, I think all that is on the presentations, by the way, and the recording. So we're gonna follow up after the call, and we're gonna make sure everybody can get access to that. And of course, download the presentations. Okay. Next one, we have James asking about TikTok. How many influencers should I work with to drive traffic on TikTok and budget? I think Daniel is not on the call anymore, but I can briefly touch on that because we also do TikTok shops. So when it comes to TikTok, at the end of the day, it comes down to what really success will look like when it comes to implementing TikTok as a new avenue to generate traffic. So usually, as a rule of thumb, is when it comes to number of influencers, I would say bare minimum, where we're seeing to really start being impactful is anywhere from 50 to 100 influencers minimum to work with. And when it comes to budget, it comes down to also what is the cost of the product, because that at the end of the day, if you're working on commission, is going to be one of the biggest costs. But I would say allocate for TikTok if you really want to make it impactful, another usually 3,000 to 5,000 minimum per month. Because the thing with TikTok, you need volume. Influencers, especially today's age, because they know how important they are. They're getting very expensive. So allocate usually between that range to make it impactful.
Vincenzo, I'm gonna add something on here. I think people always forget that what they've learned on Amazon and what they've learned on selling as a whole, and how they apply it somewhere else. At the end of the day, exactly what you said is accurate, right? Like that 50 number there, it's all about driving traffic. And so how do I get enough people to send enough traffic? That's ads, right? Why do we spend on ads? It's just getting traffic, getting the eyeballs, getting the impressions. And so you're paying for impressions there, and you're spending that time. So influencers are a big win, but don't think it's only one. You need as many as you can get. That 50 minimum that Vincenzo's saying, that you can actually get a lot of eyeballs that way. And so look at the audience size for each one of them too and say, hey, how many people do I want to get in front of?
Yeah, 100%. Cool. We have 2 more questions. Let's quickly go through them, and so we can end. So again, James asking how much money they need to spend on PPC to use Amazon Marketing Cloud. I don't know if Any of you guys want to answer them?
Yeah, I can hit it. James, whatever you spend on PPC, you can use Amazon Marketing Cloud. There's a good amount of data in there looking at all the way from your new to brand, your repeat. You can do a lot with Marketing Cloud. There's no minimum spend by any means, but you do understand and you will be able to see more of the efficacy of that spend towards driving shoppers for you.
Cool. And final one from Barry's. I'm very low in stock. What's the best thing to do right now? Who wants to take them? Pasha? Yeah.
Send inventory. No.
Good answer.
Use. I would open up another SKU and under the same ASIN, and that'll be the FBM offer, and fulfill it from your own warehouse. That's immediately kind of what you can do. But yeah, send in stock. Maybe they'll receive it. Don't send in a pallet. Send UPS boxes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, avoid that stock out at all costs. Exactly what Pasha said there. And like honestly, I'd stop running ads.
Yeah, awesome. Cool, guys. So I think that brings us to the end of the webinar today. Some of the speakers have to jump off because we are having very busy days because of Q4. But it's been a pleasure to have all of you guys. Thank you so much for the knowledge and everything you brought to this webinar. And for all the attendees, thank you once again. I know that we share a lot of knowledge today and you must be overwhelmed, but don't worry. We're going to be sharing this recording with you so then you can go on your own time. But I think the biggest takeaway is you have to take action. All the things we are telling you right now are things that actively our clients and competition are doing. And if you're not doing it, you're going to stay behind. And I think 2025 is a consolidation year for success that's coming for 2026. And you don't want to really miss out on the year to come, which I really think is going to be very impactful for everything that we're going to see happening in the Amazon space. So that's it from me. Thank you so much and see you in the next one, guys. Have a good Q4. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.